Hello everyone, my name is Katie and welcome to the first ever episode of the Knit Witch podcast. I am the Knit Witch, as you may have already guessed, and I have a feeling that this may be a long episode because it is episode number 1, so I feel like I have to give you kind of like a little bit of background information. So, like I said, my name is Katie. I am a knitter, a spinner, a hand dyer, and kind of an amateur designer. Usually my designs are just for me and not for sale. I am a 25-year-old maker. I am from, oh wow, from Rhode Island, as my sweatshirt so clearly states. I have lived here almost my whole life and I have been knitting since I was 8 years old. Usually podcasts or knitting podcasts kind of start with like finished objects, whips, other stuff, like life stuff. It's kind of strange showing you finished objects that you've never seen before, but I thought that I would just show you anyways, just so you can kind of get a little bit of like a taste of what I like to knit. So I am absolutely a garment maker. I hate making things that I don't find like functional. So usually I'm working on like 1 to 2 whips at a time. It's usually like a sock and a sweater, my 2 favorite things to make. But occasionally I'll make hats. I made this hat that I'm wearing. Actually, speaking of being a novice designer, this was my first ever published design. I mean, it's self-published, but still I wrote out the design on paper, electronic paper, and put it on Ravelry. This is called the Snowfire Ombre Hat. I may or may not insert pictures for your viewing pleasure. But I have it just folded up right now. It's mostly honestly to hide my hair. I'm having the worst hair day. So it's just kind of like, well, it's called Snowfire Ombre, and so as the name would imply, it's an ombre. It like, for me, this one starts black and then ends up rainbow at the crown. You can, if you're interested, you can totally read my whole story on the pattern page, I guess it's called. I published it last year, and I think only one other person has ever made it, so if you're interested in checking it out, it is free. I guess that's, theoretically, this is a first finished object for you guys to look at, but again, I made this over a year ago now, so it's kind of, I was saying I occasionally make hats. This is one of the hats that I occasionally make. But I find hats are a super easy gift to knit. Anyways, I was about to start showing my finished objects for you guys. I'll just start with my most recent garment, have up here. This is the Single Malt sweater by Maxim Sear, and let me show it for you. I actually just finished this a couple weeks ago. I started it in July. July 14th, I believe, if I'm remembering the project page correctly. I couldn't tell you which date I finished it on, November 20 something. Yes, this took me a strangely, is that? Yep, that is paper. This took me a strangely long time to knit. Usually I like start a garment and I'm like only working on that until I finish it. But I had a I had a internship this summer, which took up obviously 40 hours of my week. So this was kind of like my weekend project, but aside from knitting, I do like to do other things. It was summertime, so I especially liked being outside, and I didn't even say what I made this out of. This is knits out of Knit Picks Simply Wool in Aran weight in the colorway Wallace, I believe. All of the Simply Wool line, like the names start with a W and it's usually someone's name. So I believe this is the colorway Wallace. It's just this like, you saw it obviously, medium grayish brown. Oh, let me see if you can see the stitch pattern. This sweater's not blocked. I just finished it 3 weeks ago or whatever, and it is not blocked because I hate blocking. So this is not blocked, and therefore it has not been worn because I don't want to say it's too tight. I knit the size 3, and I think in the pattern it calls for size 9 needles, but I'm a very loose knitter. So I think I knit it on a size 8, if I remember correctly. So I knit the size 3, and that theoretically will fit me perfectly. Like it fits now. I just like to wear things bigger, as you may be able to tell. I like some wiggle room in my garments. So I knit the size 3, which does fit me, but I want it to be bigger, so I'm going to hopefully block it bigger. It fits my boyfriend really, really well. I finished it while I was at his house, and I was like, oh, do you want to try it on? And he put it on, and I was like, well, that is your sweater now because it fits you so perfectly. So that was my first finished object for you. I don't want to say my most recent. It's my most recent garment finished object, which has yet to be blocked. It is like, I don't want to say that it's soft. It's a rustic wool. And while I was working on it, everyone, like my mom's friends and stuff, would be like, oh my gosh, what is that? And they would like touch it and they'd be like, it's so soft. I'm like, you don't have to lie. It is a rustic wool. Definitely like a little bit toothy. It's obviously non-superwash. It comes like straight from the sheep practically. It's definitely toothy, like grippy. I really enjoy that in a yarn. It makes me feel like I'm wearing actual wool, which I obviously am. But even like sock yarns, like I love a rustic sock yarn. I feel like you can kind of like see the hairs on it and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, that is toothy. Hasn't been blocked. Hopefully it'll get bigger when I block it so that I will actually wear it. But again, fits my boyfriend perfectly, so. The next finished object I have for you, I actually don't have. But I did want to include it because that is actually my most recent finished object. It is a pair of socks that I knit for a commission. My mom wanted socks for one of her friends' birthdays. And it was very funny because she texted me on Saturday and was like, hey, I'm going to a birthday party on Thursday. Do you have any socks you want to sell me? I was like, mother, you don't understand, that is a 4-day turnaround time. I had actually just placed an order with Knit Picks for their winter sale. And so I had some bare sock yarn and I was like, oh my god, thank god I bought some bare sock yarn so I could dye up these socks and then find a pattern and then knit them up. And I did the whole thing. Like, she texted me that she wanted socks on Saturday. I dyed the wool on Sunday. I started the socks on Monday and I finished them on Wednesday. And I was like, oh my god, all that stress for what? So if someone wants a commissioned pair of socks, again, it needs to be longer than a 4-day turnaround time. Crazy. But I dyed the yarn myself. Like I said, I have a remnant. So this is Knit Picks Hawthorne, which is a 2-ply superwash merino nylon 80/20. Great way of saying that, Katie. Awesome job. So superwash merino 80/20. Like I said, it was bare. Dyed it myself. It came out all right. I went a little heavy with the speckles for my vision, but it's okay because I think the socks came out great. And the pattern I used was the Togetherness Socks by Little Home Designs, I believe. It took 86 grams of yarn, so this is 20 grams, I believe. It's just a little baby. So either this will go into a scrappy blanket at some point, which is unlikely because I hate knitting things that I'm not gonna wear. So I have bags of like sock yarn scraps that I'm like, I'm gonna do something with this someday. And it's been years and I've done nothing. So this will eventually make it into the sock yarn scrap bag. But for now, I wanted to take it out and show it. I might, you know, I really enjoy this, so I might like make this into a heel on another pair of socks or something. But I wanted to show you guys because I was like, oh my god, I did it myself and I love it so much. And the socks I knit were pretty good. The Togetherness Socks is a cuff down pattern, and I hate knitting socks cuff down. I'm a total toe up girly. So I adapted the pattern, knit it toe up. I had never done a toe up heel flap and gusset before, and oh my god, I love it. I'm usually a fish lips kiss heel knitter. That's so strange to say every time. I usually knit the fish lips kiss heel for myself, but then this time when I knit the toe up heel flap and gusset and then I tried it on myself, I was like, whoa, I really like this. Did not expect that. So now I am knitting another pair of toe up socks with a heel flap and gusset. I am knitting them for my mom. This is actually my first whip of the day. I'm knitting them for my mom, and I am totally making up my own pattern. So this is why I say I'm an amateur designer, because I'll like knit something and then I'm like, you know, I could do that better. And then I make it my own. So I'm not like designing from scratch per se. So I knit the Togetherness Socks and I was like, this pattern's fine, but I could make it better. So I'm making it better. And I actually dyed this yarn whoa, that looks green. Okay. I dyed this yarn myself too. This is again Knit Picks Hawthorne. I probably have some pictures of it in skein form, so I can insert those for you so you can get a little bit better idea of what it looks like wound up in a skein. But here's what it looks like in a ball, and it is coming across super green. Oh my god. It's totally turquoise, but it looks super green on camera. It is turquoise with green speckles and dark blue speckles. And again, dyed it myself. This is the back of the sock, because I don't know if I want to show the front yet. That is the back. This is a 64 stitch sock for my mom. There's cables on the front, and that's all you get to see. Maybe next podcast I'll be like, I'm not gonna publish the design, and therefore you can see it. But for now, I'm like, I might publish the design, so it's a secret. But I wanted to show that because I dyed that yarn and I was super proud of how it came out. And then I'm making up the pattern. I'm like writing it down as I go, just in case I do want to type it up and publish it. But I'm making it up as I go along, and I'm like, okay, kind of like it. Kind of like it. I'll have to see. I think the true test for me is seeing how that yarn knits up in the heel flap. If it looks good in the heel flap, then I'll be happy. So that is it. And hold on, I need to show off this yarn bowl. It's so cute. Let me take my thing out of. Okay, well my camera just ran out of space, but I was showing off this yarn bowl, which my boyfriend's roommate gave to me. So thank you, Dakota. I've never used a yarn bowl before, but it's very handy for storing a sock project. Let us move on to my next whip, which is the Hotdish Cardigan by Lindsay Fowler. This is a cardigan pattern. Sorry. This is a DK weight cardigan. It's knit with 2 strands of fingering weight, or fingering weight held double. I actually won this pattern by responding to one of her Instagram stories, and then she DM'd me back and she was like, congrats, you won my Hotdish cardigan. And I was like, whoa, I did not know I was entering to win, but cool. So I got this pattern for free. Thank you, Lindsay. I said I knit the size 3 of the single malt sweater, I believe. I'm knitting the size 7 of this. There's a lot of sizes in this pattern. I'm knitting size 7. I am so close to being done. It's not gonna show up. It's tweed. It's not gonna really show up well, I don't know, but I have one sleeve totally done. I finished that last night. So it's this like all over brown. I'm knitting this. I'm such a bad podcaster. I am knitting this out of Stroll Tweed from Knit Picks. Can you tell I like cheap yarn? So this colorway is Reindeer Heather for the brown, or Reindeer Heather for the brown. I just started this second sleeve last night, and I finished this sleeve and I started the second sleeve. So the all over brown color is Reindeer Heather. Then there's this little like stripy bit on the ribbing, which I love so much. I love it. So the green that I'm using is, again, Stroll Tweed, fingering weight. The green is Lost Lake Heather. And the red is, again, Stroll Tweed, Garnet Heather. And I love this combination. I love it so much. I definitely overbought. I bought this yarn for this pattern last year at Knit Picks big sale. I definitely overbought. I needed, what, 70 yards of the two contrasting colors? I got 400 of each. So these two I've used, and like literally you can hardly tell that I've used them, right? And these two are fresh, and I obviously will not be cracking into them. So all I have left on this cardigan is obviously my one sleeve, and then I pick up all the stitches along the front for the button band. And this is the only yarn I have left in the brown. Like I said, it's fingering weight held double. So this skein is obviously on its last legs. I would be surprised if I had 5 grams left here. So I'm gonna have to start pulling from the outside of this and like holding it double with itself. Hopefully that gets me to the end of the sleeve. If I have no brown in the button band is supposed to be, you know, the same stripe pattern as this, so it goes, sorry, I'm showing you the side with all the ends. Let me fold that over for you. So it goes like brown, green, red, green, brown, like a little sandwich. If I have no brown in the button band, totally fine with me. I'll just do green, red, green. Not a problem. If I cannot finish this sleeve, obviously I will be so upset. So it's really cold, so I can't really cross my fingers, but I'm crossing my fingers that I have enough to finish that sleeve. Because oh my gosh, little bit of yarn chicken there. That's fine. So those are the only 2 knitted things I am working on. I did want to show you my spinning, and I am now using the cardigan as a lap blanket because it is freezing. So I kind of went crazy. My birthday is right before Thanksgiving, so it like coincides with Black Friday, with the Knit Picks big sale. So every year, kind of go a little crazy for my birthday, buying myself some yarn. Everyone's like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, nothing, because I already bought it for myself. So this year, last year I went crazy at the Knit Picks big sale. This year I went crazy on Etsy buying fiber. So this is from Paradise Fibers. It is the colorway High Seas. I believe it's 100% superwash merino. Probably should have looked at that before I started talking to you. So I spin on a drop spindle. This is a top whirl drop spindle. I've never plied before, but this I am going to be making my boyfriend a hat. Hopefully I have enough. So This started out, I bought 4 ounces of this fiber. This is all I have left. This is maybe 10 grams, probably less. That's all I have left. I have this big beautiful cup, like I showed you, on my top roll spindle. I also have a bottom roll, which I think I prefer. And then I have this. I wound it onto a nitty knotty, and that's what it looks like. That's what my singles look like for now. I would say the singles are about a fingering weight. And hopefully when I put them together, I will get, after I soak them and stuff, I hope I'm gonna get something like a worsted weight. And I counted the yardage, like closely approximated, that's a better word. I approximated the yardage on this nitty knotty, and I think I have 124 yards, which may or may not be enough for a worsted weight hat. I'm leaning towards the side of it won't be enough. So again, I am crossing my fingers. I am freaking praying that somehow I get more than 124 yards with this. I want to apply this yarn so that it is more durable, so that the hat is less likely to pill, because like I said, I think this is 100% merino. So I think it is going to pill if I were to leave it as a single. So I want to apply it so that it's less likely to pill, make him a hat, and I'm just hoping I have enough. I feel like I'm not going to, but he also has a really big head. It's like a 23-inch circumference, or maybe it's even 24. I should probably measure that. I have made him a hat, or I did make him a hat before, and I absolutely ran into the issue of running out of yarn. I may or may not insert a picture, but I definitely ran out of yarn on that guy. And I had to keep ripping back and like re-rationing my yarn so that I could finish it. And it all worked out and it fits him totally perfectly, brim's long enough and everything, but I'll have to look at the yardage on that. That was also like an Aran weight or bulky weight hat. This I think is going to be more like a worsted weight once I apply it. I don't know what to do though. Like, if I apply it and it's not enough yarn, what do I do? I guess the answer would be I have a buttload of roving too, so I could just like take some other roving, try and match the spin that I did on this, and knit the brim in a different color maybe. That could totally work, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm working on right now. His birthday is New Year's Day, January 1st. So my plan is to either have this hat done for Christmas or for his birthday. I'm also planning on knitting him some socks. So whatever one gets done first will be for Christmas, and the other one will be a race to the finish to get done for his birthday. So that's pretty much it. That's kind of all that I have right now. Hopefully next, I don't want to say next week because I don't want to promise anything, but next podcast, I'm hoping I will have my Hotdish Cardigan done, that I will not have run out of yarn. Wow, yarn chicken's a common theme, I guess. I'm hoping that this will be finished spinning. I will hopefully have started on his hat. Maybe my mom's socks will be done. Who knows? We'll have to see where this journey takes me, you know, to throw a little new age sprinkles in there. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoy your crafts and that you also do not run out of yarn. So, I'll see you next time. Bye.